One of the earliest successful Western video game characters launched a legacy, and a cow, in console comedy, becoming one of the earliest and best examples of humor executed well in a game. Before Earthworm Jim, there had been a few designers here and there that had whetted their wit. Notably one Ron Gilbert and Tim Schafer in their work on LucasArts classics like Maniac Mansion and The Secret of Monkey Island, text-based point-and-click adventures that fused a serious setting with some achingly hilarious dialogue. These titles that would help to popularize computer gaming were aimed at a slightly more mature audience than the typical Nintendo demographic of young kids and early teenagers. The satire employed appealed to the college kid and guys in their 20s seeking to split their sides. But given the proper writer, lending some laughs to a text-based game, a tradition that would continue in the works of LucasArts and Sierra, now that was one thing, but making an action-oriented game where the comedic timing is so crucially difficult to get down because of the fluid nature of the gameplay, now that was another. Amid this era of lighthearted computer hits like Monkey Island, in a time when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were almost a subculture unto themselves, and with the artistic help of Doug TenNapel, a company called Shiny Entertainment and its founder, David Perry, created a comic character unlike most any hero seen on a console. Earthworm Jim, a larva inhabiting a spacesuit. What a fantastic concept. In many ways, Jim was a superhero with an alter ego. He was just a weak worm outside of his suit, and indeed many parts of the game require you to divorce your ensemble. And then he puts on the suit and he's this gun-toting, cow-launching, whip-lashing hero who has to rescue Princess What's-Her-Name. Yeah, that's actually her name. It's a plot poised to perfect parody. But the game stood for more than its satire. It was also one of the most polished and, dare it be said, shiniest IPs to hit the scene. Its comic book art style beautifully rendered in fluid animated motion. Its music, provided by a still young up-and-coming Tommy Tallarico, was groovily catchy and drove the action. Earthworm Jim spawned an equally successful sequel on the Sega Genesis before, like its predecessor, being ported to the Super Nintendo and other consoles, but it quickly became an anachronism when making the jump to 3 dimensions on the N64 and beyond. But the embodied slug-shooting slug still has his place in video game history. He was one of the first of the unlikely protagonist archetype, notably in a platforming or action game, a character type that would come to create some of the most beloved figures in the medium. But the game also made one thing clear for developers to take notice. The gameplay was what mattered first and foremost. You can't make a game funny if the player isn't having fun. So any attempt at humor must first subject itself to the properties of the play. And even then, it's not easy to do. Gaming is an interactive experience, not a passive one. Earthworm Jim, one of the earliest enterprises in rib-tickling interactivity, began on August 2nd, 1994. This day in gaming.